All right, guys, this morning I want to talk to you about how to think about the critics. No matter what we're doing, no matter what we're engaged with, and what our aspirations are, we're going to have people who are critical of our endeavors. It's just a fact of life. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you think of it. I mean, you're not going to change these people. It's what they do. And it's because it's the easy thing to do. It's much easier to criticize than to create. And I'm not saying all criticism is wrong. There is constructive criticism, but by and large, that's not what you receive whenever you start out on a journey to do whatever it is you want, whether it's creating YouTube content, writing a book, or just getting out there and running a small business, like at a farmer's market on the weekend. You're going to have people who just, shake their heads and they're going to tell you what they think, or at least they want you to think that's what they think. Okay, and if it's not thought of properly, you're gonna have a tough time. It will discourage you. It will dissuade you from putting your best foot forward. And so I wanna speak to this today and shed some light on it. Like I said, being a critic is much easier than being a content creator, regardless of what it is. Regardless of what you put your hand to. So that's the first thing you need to keep in mind. But I read this before I get to the main part of, where's my glasses? Over here. Before I get to the main part of what I want to share with you here, I read this in Reader's Digest and I thought this was funny. There's a little blurb right here, and it says, "Here's one way to clap back at the haters. After E. Cummings' collection, 70 Poems, was firmly rejected by 14 publishing houses, he self-published it under the snarky title, No Thanks. And he dedicated the book to those very same companies, arranging their names in the shape of a funeral urn." I'll see if I can find a picture of that, because I've seen it. I've seen it somewhere and put it up on here. I guess in the Netherlands, there's an area there where you can find poetry written on the sides of walls, kind of like murals of certain buildings, and you can look it up. You can look it up and find it. And I think the YouTuber It's Sky, if he's watching this, I'm sure he's seen them, and because he walks around there making walk tour videos and does a really good job of it and everything. You should check his channel out, by the way. But anyway, yeah, E. Cummings, one of his poems is actually on one of these buildings, and I've seen it. Hopefully I've got a picture up on the screen of it. But I thought that was funny. Put it in the shape of a funeral urn. Now, here's what really got me to thinking about making this video. Number one, the longer you make content like this, or the longer you do anything, like I said, regardless of whether it's writing your own book, starting a business, whatever it is you're doing. Okay, you fill in the blank. The longer you do it, the greater the swell of critics is. Okay, and really, it should be some kind of an indicator that you've gotten higher up on the charts. Okay, so do not think for a minute that you will be what's the word I want to use? I think he's trying to say immune. The guy can't hardly communicate to save his life. Well, you're not going to get out of it. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why the word escaped me, but you're just going to have plenty of critics, and there's just no escaping it. So I was reading this book, and I've talked about this before. Dynamic book called The Practice by Seth Godin. There you go. Now you can see it better. And I'll put a link for this book down below. Get this. If you're somebody who's got any kind of ambition, get this book. He does a really good job of lighting a fire under you, getting you motivated, and helping you to think the right way. But he has this little part right here that really spoke to me personally. Here's what he said about critics. Number one, because most of our work is purchased a la carte, and because there's far more supply than demand, most of the feedback we receive is rejection. Rejection comes not just from the market, but from self-confident gatekeepers who we perceive as knowing more than we do. This is a trap, and until you get used to it, this is a trap of criticism. is that you think at first, well, maybe people mean well, or they're just really mean, and maybe I should change. Maybe they do know better than me, and I've got to pander to them. I've got to give them exactly what they want. And it's just a slippery slope. Number two, because the work we do involves widely available tools like a keyboard, the group of people who believe that they can also do the work or improve on ours is very large. No one knows everything at the very same time that everyone is an expert. Okay, number three, because many of us have a transient base of fans, music lovers follow many musicians, not just one. There's a great deal of churn in the fan base. If someone stops producing, listeners simply shift. If your therapist retires, it's a crisis. Yeah, you understand when you go into something that there's plenty of competition. There's plenty of people who will replace you, and that places some undue pressure on you if you're not focused on the practice and more focused on the outcome. And so it should never be your motivation to keep working as long as you're getting positive feedback, regardless of whether it's in the form of criticism or in a drop-off in sales or subscribers or positive comments. Okay. Because negative criticism is easier to spread than positive feedback, most public criticism of our work is negative. On the other hand, people who are fairly satisfied say nothing. This is a paradox. You will have more negative criticism than constructive criticism. This is not counting the people who have nice things to say. I have plenty of people on my YouTube channel who have wonderful things to say. It's when criticism specifically is leveled. It seems like there's no balance. You either get negative criticism or not very much constructive criticism at all. And on top of that, most people are not going to tell you what they think, even if they think positively. So you get the feeling that it's not resonating or that it's not reaching people. And in fact, it actually is. But I don't comment on everybody's stuff. I don't show probably as much support as I probably should to other people. And you know what's funny? There are people who show me very much support, and I'm very thankful for it. So it's you can't gauge your level of success or your reach by your feedback all the time. It's just not. It just doesn't balance out. There's no way it does. Because we work in novelty, our existing customers are often hesitant to return because someone else, anyone else actually, can offer more novelty than we can. If you believe that you've always got to be switching it up, and I mean, you do have to kind of progress, you do have to evolve, you do have to get better. But if you think you've got to always come out in a red rubber nose and big floppy red shoes and play the clown for everybody just to keep their attention, if you think it's what it takes, you're gonna get burnt out. You're gonna feel used after a while, and you're absolutely resentful. And this is what causes people a lot of times to drop out of whatever race they're involved in, whatever that might be. And so novelty is a very hard thing. I mean, you are unique, but it's when you don't believe that what your angle you're working, when you don't believe that is unique anymore, you end up working at cross purposes with yourself. Okay, so number 6 here, because creative magic is truly breathtaking, the audience and we are chasing a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Those, by definition, are rare, and so most of our interactions don't meet that standard. I love this because you feel like every piece of work you put out has got to be gold, and it's got to be better than it was last time. And it's unrealistic expectations. You can't continue to work like that unless maybe you have a massive staff of people working for you to help you. And even that's very difficult in a business or a corporation. That's very tough. It's very tough. What this book focuses on, and what I'm trying to convey to you, is number 1, don't concern yourself with the critics. Know that they're out there. Constructive criticism is good. Constructive criticism is leveled at the work and not at the person. Malignant criticism is leveled at the person. They attack the character. My best advice for that is just simply don't respond. Or if you're going to do it, be humorous, but don't be cutting. And it's very hard for me sometimes not to be. But generally, I ignore it. Every once in a while, I address it, and I probably shouldn't. And it's probably wise not to return insult for insult. But most of the time, it's better just not even acknowledge it. And don't spend your time thinking about it, because you can't outnumber them. And second of all, focus on the work itself. Focus on just doing it every day. It's not a matter of just getting it done. It's just showing up and doing the best you can from day to day, enjoying the process and making it all about expressing yourself and doing whatever it is that you do. And I think if you focus on that and worry less about the income, I mean, not the income. Well, you want to worry about the income. That's going to be a concern of yours. But if you worry less about the outcome, can't believe I mixed up those two words, but you see what I'm saying, right? Listen, when I get really motivated by something, I have to share it with others, and I might have just showed up at the right time with this video for somebody. If you like this video, I ask that you do comment, let me know. And I thank you for that. And hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Share this with others, and make sure you hit the notification bell. Don't let people get you down. Remember what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing, and I think that'll go a long ways. I think that's what's really important. Don't let people get you sidestepped, because there's just too many of them, and your work is better than that. All right, guys, I've enjoyed it. I thank you for your time. I hope I've made myself clear. I seem to fumble all over myself from time to time, but as long as you understand the point, that's all that matters. All right. Thank you for everything. I'll catch you next time.